dengue. So we want to talk to somebody, a doctor, Dr. Marvin Reed, about what the government is doing. Yes, them a wash money, you know why? After them take the thief in money, where some of them thief and the people them pay the thieving company. And then now, when them pay the thieving company, them get a percentage of the money by way of taxes, National Housing Trust, whatsoever, NR, whatsoever the people them pay. So the money, where them claim says ill-gain money, them get a percentage of it after it go round, they go wash off and come back round to them. So now them put it, and whatsoever, NR, whatsoever the people them pay. So the money, where them claim says ill-gain money, them get a percentage of it after it go round, they go wash off and come back round to them. So now them put it and claim now, so them are going to put it in the right place. It's the same money. It's the same money where the scammer them scam and them thief from the scammer them and give the people them, make the people them watch it for them, and them take back the same money in taxes and carry, go put it in our things. Our things them put it in her. And now claim say the money clean now because it got through some people who legitimately pay taxes. You know, I see something on TikTok the other day, and it's just amazing. 3 man sit down. I don't remember it's a $10 or $100 the man have in him hand. The first man, 3 man sit down. The first man have $100. The second man look upon the first man and say, hey, you owe me $100, you know. Him say, oh yeah? Alright. So the first man get, I don't remember it's a $10 or $100 the man have in him hand. The first man, 3 man sit down. The first man have $100. The second man look upon the first man and say, hey, you owe me $100, you know. Him say, oh yeah? Alright. So the first man give the second man the $100. The third man look upon the second man and say, hey, you owe me $100, you know. The second man give the third man the $100 and say, alright, I don't owe you nothing now. The first man, who the money did start with, look upon the third man and say, look here. Remember I said it owe me $100? The third man give the first man the $100 and say, well, I don't owe you nothing now, see there. That is how government run. That is how the government run, you know. The same money I go right round and come back round and I come back round. And you feel say things are going on for you. And them say all the things gone up and unemployment down. Unemployment down. I wonder who them account in the unemployment thing. I wonder if them account to prostitute them. I wonder if them account to prostitute them in the employed. It's a serious thing. Because after the man give the man the money, him get you the all him debt, him get the man him owe him, and the second man give the third man and him end him all of him debt, and the third man give back the first man the same money. What a thing. This is how the thing are going, and then now them tell you about why everything is going fine. How come the people them on the ground not seeing it? When them start to quote this and that and this and that, all you can hear is a company come and say, well, in the first quarter we make 10 billion, in the second quarter we make 5 billion, 1 billion less than what we make last year. None of them not see them a lose nothing, you know. None of them not see them a lose. All of them account how much money them a make. Half of the people them and the government help them. The private sector, the government help the private sector. And them talk about road and look how much building are going. Who a benefit from those buildings? The little man will make cement. After the building done, you know, him lose, him done, him not no more work. And a man just come by that for $30 million, $40 million and sit down up there. Anyway, we are going to the news. Saying that 3 men sit down, 1 man have $100. And the second man look on the man, the first man, and him say, hey, you owe me $100, you know. And him say, all right. So him give the second man the $100. The third man look on the second man and say, hey, you owe me $100, you know. So the second man give the third man the $100 and say, see, I don't owe you nothing now. The first man who did have the $100 first, look for the third man and say, you remember, say, you owe me $100. So the third man give the first man the $100 and say, see, then no, I don't owe you no more money. Them say, well, I saw the government run them business. Sometimes them don't have to produce nothing. All them do is just regurgitate. The same thing I go round and round and round. So, pay them debt. According to them, the debt thing gone down. But this is a good example of how the debt thing go down, because if the first man pay the second man with the money, the same money, and then the second man pay the third man with the same money, and the third man now give back the government the money, that means everything all right. Everything all right. That terrible thing, terrible. If you don't believe me, take a trip to some of them festivals in Europe, and you'll see reggae music. Hey, watch your man. You think it's easy to keep a festival with 200 and odd 1,000 people? I mean, I talk about 20,000 people, you know, or 20, or what them call it, 25,000 people. I mean, I talk about 200 and odd 1,000 people. Them say stadium hold 30,000 people. So you talk about 3 9s, 27, 3 8s, 3 6s. You talk about 6 times the amount of people we could have hold in a stadium when it's carved, if it could have carved, so. They are them festival. Some of them have about 50,000, 100,000. And when you hear the days them, 7 days, 5 days, 4 days, a pure reggae music. I want to say, so where are the high parties them they were worried about in Jamaica? We have mashed down the place and I tear down the dance hall and all them something there. All them not upon them festival there. What does that thing say? New music require big festivals for ram it. But at the same old time DJ them, the same reggae artists them, and them a make the rounds to, you talk about more than a dozen festivals. You move from one country to the next country to the next country. And I just saw it go. Reggae, still the boat. I tell you that. If you mention the Congos and Cedric Martin, and if you mention Kidosai and all them man there, nobody in Jamaica right now don't know them man there, Rasta. Yet still, look on the posters them in Europe with the festival them, and to say them not depend most of the festival them. And it goes on and on like that. The reggae music still pertinent. Reggae is still kicking at the plane the other day. Where the thing there? In Jamaica, and we see a whole heap of statements and advertisements going around about this dengue. So we want to talk to somebody, a doctor, Dr. Marvin Reed, about what is really happening as it relates to the dengue. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Muta. How are you doing?
I'm okay, man. All right.
Good.
You know, a couple years ago we have this epidemic in Jamaica, and now we see it have raised its ugly head again. What is really happening?
All right. So dengue is something that will raise its head periodically every few years or so. And the reason for that is that it's one of those diseases that's transmitted by a mosquito, Aedes aegypti mosquito, and that mosquito is always here. So what will happen is that there's going to be a period period in which a lot of new people are born, and they're not gotten dengue before, and then you're going to have like some rains or stuff, and you get a new bout of the infection moving around. So all that has happened really is that we're in that cycle again where the numbers of infections are starting to rise. But every year there's really dengue, so that the numbers might not be as prevalent as it is now.
Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah, so, all right. We know how it spreads still through the mosquito, but we not get no rain, because usually mosquito come with rain, come with mosquito and thing, but we never get no rain, so this come up back, so.
All right. So there are a couple of issues. So the rains are important, yes, but as you can recall, mosquitoes will grow and breed whenever it is there's any stagnant pool of water anywhere.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to have rain. If you catch water for drinking purposes and you don't store it properly, don't cover it properly, the mosquitoes will breed in there. It's really just having an habitat for them to grow. That is the problem.
All right, so what you suggest the Jamaican people should do now? I mean, more hole in the container, them, watch where the coconut got thrown away.
All right, so essentially the management of dengue or mosquito-borne illnesses is really on two sides. So on one side is how do you control the vector, which in this case is the mosquito, because if the vector doesn't have the virus, doesn't transmit the virus, then you're okay. So if you're thinking about that, you have several strategies that people have tried all over the world, including us here in Jamaica. So whenever it is that there's an outbreak or an uptick, then you do the regular spraying. So some of us may see the public health van going out in the afternoons in the 6 o'clock region, spraying, trying to get rid of the mosquitoes. At the community level, what we tell the individuals to do is to, check their household, check their neighborhood, check their space, at least once a week, and try and identify any areas or any receptacles that might be collecting water, and get rid of those. You can put oil on the water that will tend to prevent them from breeding. And so it's really, and then in terms of what you do, in terms of trying to prevent yourself from getting bitten, in the evenings where you can, wear protective clothing, long sleeve clothes so that you don't get a lot of bites and that sort of a thing. So those are the real things that you can do at the local level to try and control the number of mosquitoes. There are fancy stuff that people have tried, meat, that sort of a thing. People have tried those things around the world. But the most important thing, practical stuff that you can do, is really to just examine your own habitat, where you live, and make sure you don't have collect
water.
Yeah.
All right. So, how you know say you have dengue? How you know that?
All right. So dengue, like all viral infections, will have individuals who have the infections and really don't know. We call that the asymptomatic people, as well as individuals who get the infection and they manifest it in terms of symptoms. Classically, the symptoms that they're going to experience is like any other virus. They're going to have a fever. They may have headaches. They may have pain behind their eyes. They may just feel aches in the muscles. They may just feel tired. So it's really the classic viral kinds of infections. Now, usually, most people's immune system can manage and fight the virus, and therefore, after a couple of days, they will get better. But the challenge we have with dengue, just like we had with COVID, or just like we had with chikungunya, is that there are some individuals who progress to a more serious phase, and I think that's what's causing up some of the excitement, because when you get the serious or severe form of dengue, it can be lethal. It means it can actually kill you. And so, while the vast majority of us will recover easily without too much problem, we have to bear in mind that some individuals will progress onto a more serious form. The indications that they're progressing to a more serious form usually will mean that they will have a lot of vomiting, diarrhea. They may be bleeding through their nose, through their mouth.
Oh, yeah, people do that?
Yeah. Yeah, man. You bleed, and you see some skin rash and purple-looking rash coming up on your skin, that sort of a thing. Now, once that is happening, then you know that you have the very serious form, and you have to be in hospital for that management of that kind of severe dengue.
All right, so the asymptomatic people, how them know so them have it? How you know so them have it?
Well,
what is the sign?
It's asymptomatic because they do have any signs. They don't get any fever. But the issue why they are important is that if they are the source of the virus, so the mosquito bites them, the mosquito then goes and bites somebody else and then passes on the infection. So it's one of the reasons why dengue is classified as what we call a class 1 disease. So if we suspect it, we tell the public health authorities and they come and spray that whole neighborhood. Yeah. Because you may find individuals who, I'm not sick or anything, but they may be asymptomatic and passing it on.
Yeah, all right, hold on. I could take a time signal and come far. I could take a time signal. If them don't know, so them have it, that means them never have the bump, them and thing. That
is correct. That is correct. They don't have
that means them not have it then.
No, man, them have it, man. So
no, but I mean, if you don't have no sign.
Remember what happens, you know. So, with any viral infections, any infections at all, you will have individuals who the infection is in their blood doing its thing. Now, some individuals, these are the symptomatic people, when the virus is spreading in your body, it produces symptoms, whether it be fever, joint pain, headaches, and so on.
This is who you're talking about, the asymptomatic person?
No, man, there's a symptomatic individual. But
no, wait, I could not come off of the asymptomatic person.
All right, yeah, man.
An asymptomatic person can have dengue fever and don't know, that's what I say.
They don't have dengue fever because they don't have no fever.
So why you bring up an asymptomatic person?
All right, whenever you get an infection, some people have symptoms. Now, if they have the fever, then we know they have dengue fever. But we do know, because we can produce these out, that there are some individuals who, when they get the virus, they don't produce any symptoms.
So all them know to them have the virus?
Them won't know unless we test them.
So you forgot. So everybody in Jamaica should have get tested then.
You really want to what the prevalence is. What is this same situation with COVID? You remember there were some people?
No, wait the man, hold on, wait there. I could not go at COVID. I could talk about the asymptomatic and all.
Yes,
if you don't have no symptoms, I don't feel no way, and you don't know nothing about nothing now. Why you going to the doctor for make you get it? So, because you start worrying now.
That is correct. No.
Yeah, but why you ever go to the doctor then? If I don't have no symptoms, I never go to the doctor.
That is correct. I will accept that. The point I was making is that the vast majority of persons, when they get dengue, will have symptoms.
Yes.
However, you have some people who have no symptoms. And the only way that they would know or we would know
is to go to the doctor.
And we test them, yes.
Well, I'm telling you, that will be a stupid person. If you don't have no symptoms, I'm going to a doctor to go find out if you have it. I'll pay your money to a doctor to tell you, say, no, you don't really have it, you know, go back home. That's crazy. That's crazy.
What does happen?
Anyway, that's about now the people who knows them have it. And what you do now? What you do?
All right, so usually the treatment for it is supportive. So normally if it is that you have a fever and you have the joint pains and so on, the normal thing to do is that we tell you to take something called acetaminophen, which is Panadol or Cetamol or something like that. We tell you not to take things like Brufen or aspirin or Cataflam or Voltaren because those may make you bleed even more. So you control the fever by the normal fever control techniques, which is bathing, stopping you down, taking the acetaminophen, and then you wait until the fever break. And, you take your rest. I call it my vitamin R, take your fluids, and so on. The vast majority of individuals, that's all they need to do. However, there's what happens with dengue. Dengue has a little trick. So when the fever breaks, right, most people will feel better. However, some people, that's when they actually become even sicker after the fever break. And those are the ones that we're a little bit more concerned about because those individuals may progress to the bleeding form of dengue.
Whoa.
Yeah. So what we say is manage the fever, and if it is that you recognize that after the fever has broken, you're getting more sick, you're getting belly pains, you're getting some skin rashes on your hand, you're getting, confused or so on. Those individuals need to be in a health center or health facility because they may be progressing onward to the more serious form of dengue.
So, you have a group who are more susceptible to it?
All right, so
like
dengue,
easier to catch it?
Yeah, man. So dengue, all right, so the issue that we have right now is that based on what the reports that are coming out is that there are 4 types of dengue. So if you get dengue and recover from, say, type 1, you have lifelong immunity for type 1 dengue. If you get type 2 and you recover from it and everything, you have lifelong immunity. So the challenge we have is that the serotype that is now circulating, if you didn't get exposed to it, but you had the other serotypes before, then there's an increased risk that you may get the more serious, meaning this infection that you're going to get is going to likely to be more serious than the first time you had dengue. So individuals who are getting new infections with a serotype that they never got before are at increased risk of getting a worse form of dengue. Individuals who have diabetes, hypertension, cancer, HIV, sickle cell, those individuals also will tend to get a more severe form of dengue. The young kids also run the risk of getting a very severe form of dengue, and the older folks, the elderly, will also have the risk of getting more severe forms of dengue. So that is the challenge we have. The vast majority of us as adults will be able to overcome this infection, just like a little flu, and we overcome it without too much problem. But some individuals are likely to face or to have problems.
One of the ways you can get you that, is to turn on your fan by your night time.
And blow the mosquito.
And blow the mosquito. The problem is that you would have blown with somebody over beside you.
Well, that's true. But the other thing that we said is, some people use the mosquito net, seal the windows, that sort of a thing. That will help protect you.
All right, sir. Well, I hope somebody will listen and know, say, we did tell you, we did warn you, say, it is going around now. It have a special time of year where it pop up?
Well, it tends to pop up usually during the rainy season. That's when it tends to pop up most, because that's when all the mosquito eggs and stuff that has been hiding and lying around,
open up,
they open up.
Yeah.
But the key thing is, so the ministry maintains what they call a surveillance, and once the numbers reaches a certain number, we know that we're having an outbreak, which is what is happening now. And then you'll see all of this ramping up of public health campaigns, getting rid of the stagnant water, telling you to protect yourself, use mosquito repellent if you can, that sort of a thing, and you see the people coming around spraying.
What is this spray that them use, though? People skeptical of it. What is this spray that them use?
Well, the spray what them use is one of those organic pesticide sprays, which really is supposed to kill both the adult mosquito as well as the eggs of the mosquito.
Supposed to kill them.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Well, it does. That's what it does. But it's not supposed to be harmful to us as humans, but it's supposed to kill the mosquitoes. So it's one of these organic pesticides that we use.
So why them tell them to shut up your place when them come around, if it's not harmful?
No, man. But the idea here is that the issue again is to make sure some people may react to the fumes.
Them have asthma and something there. Asthma symptoms.
You can react to it.
Okay.
And if when the man spray the thing and you go near it, even if you're good and strong, it just smells bad.
Yeah. but say, all we have to do now, nobody no believe you. You could have talked little more. You can't tell Jamaican people say something no poison so that it's
it's possible. But as I said,
they don't believe you at all.
It's not supposed to harmful.
I say, you make that boy go and talk, man. You don't know what you must say. You think you're going to make them a cuss. Hey, you ever see people that cuss when the spray man come around?
Yes, man.
It's like they want stoning.
Even them do like a pan food from the road. Don't know what's
Yeah. That's all right. Anyway, give thanks, brethren. Give thanks again.
Yeah, man. Cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Me like how when we call you come still.
No problem, man. No, man. I listen. I don't be careful of the language. That's the trouble.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. You and Sweet Mouth Nigel a friend, man. You and Sweet Mouth Nigel a friend. You go on. All right.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Yeah. Yes, give thanks. That was Dr. Marvin Reed. We was talking about this thing we are going on now, dengue, you know, it's not the first, not the second, not the third. And we just want you keep safe because you never can tell, you know, you just catch it and you see a whole heap of spotty thing and come out from your ear. Say, what is slow when me eat? When you hear from the shout, you have to go to a doctor. And right now, a whole heap of things that cause sickness in the country also, where not even the doctor can identify as well. It's a terrible thing. When a doctor can identify as well, I'm not saying, we had to go home, go take 2 fences, you can lay down. That's all I'm going to tell you now. You know, I've recently we've been hearing about these schools in Africa, but it gets so consistent now from one country to the next country to the next country. And it's very difficult to get news from the Western media about what, if a whole heap of blood is that shed, you'd hear about it. But apparently nobody now kill nobody, I know them just take over it and the people them agree with taking over. And then they just deal with them and deal with. And right in the big light is the French. I wonder if we have any more break. So watch them, you know. All right. Right in the big light is the French. And apparently the French, it's like them don't want to leave the country. And the man them tell them, so on the left, on the don't want to over the country right now. And new times now, different times now, we want to leave the country. So we find a whole heap of arrests, them arrest a whole heap of them. The French people, them we talk about, the government, diplomats, them and all them, they want to play this clip for the people, them. Yes, here we go. Clip.
On September 12th, 2023, France's foreign ministry announced on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, that a French official had been detained in military-run Niger. The ministry announced that STEPPIN Julien, counselor for French citizens abroad, a non-diplomatic elected post, was arrested on Friday, September 8th, 2023 by Nigerian security forces and called for his immediate release. The foreign ministry did not comment on where and how Julien was detained or whether officials in Paris were aware of his whereabouts. It merely stated that France was closely monitoring the issue and was fully mobilized to ensure that he had the same protections as any other official in other countries. The arrest of Mr. STEPPIN Julien comes after military troops ousted President Mohamed Bazoum from power in July 2023 and ordered all French officials to leave the country. The Nigerian Foreign Ministry asked French Ambassador Sylvain Et to leave Niger within 48 hours in a letter dated August 25, 2023. That accused him of neglecting an invitation to meet with the ministry. The letter also referred to actions of the French government that are contrary to the interests of Niger. However, France has brazenly refused to comply with the order to leave the country, claiming that Niger's ruling junta is not the country's legitimate government and as such has no right to order it out. Indeed, France has consistently acknowledged only the authority of deposed President Mohamed Bazoum following the coup. As a result, French President Emmanuel Macron has stated that France's ambassador will remain in Niger despite being ordered to leave. Also, in an address to ambassadors in August 2023, Macron downplayed fears that defying the junta's orders could be harmful. One shouldn't give in to the narrative used by the coup leaders that consists of saying France has become our enemy, Macron said at the late August annual Paris gathering of the nation's ambassadors. The arrest of STEPPIN Julian, the counselor for French citizens abroad, by Nigerian security forces sends a clear and uncompromising message from the junta. They are firmly in control and determined to assert their authority over the country. This arrest can be viewed as a direct response to France's refusal to acknowledge the junta's legitimacy and its decision to defy the order to remove its ambassador from Niger. Interestingly, it is noteworthy that this is not the first time Macron has defied the junta's orders for France to leave the country. Niger called for all French soldiers in the country to leave, but Macron replied by saying only some will leave. And even with that pledge, Niger's military administration has accused France of being insincere, saying it has made no concrete steps to withdraw troops as announced at the beginning of September. Therefore, this bold move by Niger's military leaders to arrest a French elected official is a stark reminder that the junta considers itself the rightful governing body of Niger and will not tolerate foreign interference or resistance. In light of these facts, it is clear that France's insistence on maintaining its presence in Niger, despite the junta's directives, whether by keeping its ambassador or retaining troops, will only exacerbate tensions. The junta's actions, including the arrest of Julian, are a manifestation of their frustration with France's continued interference in Niger's affairs. It is abundantly clear that the people of Niger, through their military administration, do not want France's involvement, and the resolution to this crisis is straightforward. France should heed the junta's demands and withdraw from Niger. Continuing down this path of defiance and provocation will only prolong the instability and suffering in the region. It's high time for France to do the honorable thing, respect Niger's sovereignty, and leave the country to allow for a peaceful and legitimate transition of power. What do you make of the Niger junta arresting a French elected official after France defied several orders to leave the country? Let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Yes, so you hear that? You hear that? They are demanding that the French leave, and the French is demanding that them go and stay. After all of that coup and thing, no bloodshed. But them no want bloodshed, because them know them have some big army, and them have the bucket of a certain place. And even some of the African states, them want to send troops inside Niger to fight against the people them on the side of the French. The Ghanaian president is one such man. Remember again, Akufo or something, Akufo. Yeah. Him is one of them who want to send troops down there, but the people them are demonstrate in Ghana. Yeah, the people them are demonstrate. So what you deal with? Oh, you want to send troops in Nigeria to fight against the African them? What kind of madness is that? And that is the talk all the while. We have to talk with these head of states in Africa. When you see the time come now when someone that rise up and I say, look, enough is enough with these foreign invaders. Some guy around the corner decides, say, what am I talking about? We have benefit off of these foreigners, you know. When I give it up, they might look on the short-term effect. And now do the long-term thing. It's a terrible thing. So we will see how it will play out inside of Africa now. We have Mali, Niger, we have Gabon, you know, and we have some around the place said we, but I hear it's weird because I hear the Nigerian them say, is the French cause Boko Haram to rise up in Nigeria? Yeah? And that them I say, the French cause the rise of Boko Haram. For those of you who don't know Boko Haram, it's supposed these militant is Muslim Islam people who that day did capture or kidnap some schoolgirls and make them stay there. Long too. Them very extreme. Very extreme. Now, Nigeria say it's France cause it. So we're going to see how that are going to play out too, because there's enough things that go on in the part of Africa, you know, the west part of Africa, that are garner more attention. Yes, we see all Ivory Coast, Benin. As me I say, we don't hear not about Senegal yet, you know, it's a problem. We always say that, you know, it's a problem in Senegal. Any side, Senegal depend is a problem. Because Senegal is one of the French of all French countries in West Africa. Yes, Senegal, one of the most French countries. Senegal come like Guadeloupe in the Caribbean. When come on to France, and how the people them see themselves in a Senegal. Enough was a slave there in Senegal, you know. Yeah, man, enough of them, enough. Them fly to Europe. Anytime, if they want to buy something, them go to Europe go buy it. And it will all in a France, with Senegal, you know. And that's how them do it, you know. True, them can afford it. Them fly go to Paris. All these places, them fly go. Both slave them there everywhere. Them there everywhere. So, we're going to watch that. We're going to watch these things because even though it might look like it's far from we, but really and truly, it's just round the corner. May I tell you, don't feel like, say, we are isolated from that. It's Africa, you know. It's Africa. Yeah, it's Africa. And when you say Africa, no, you know, you talk about gold, diamond, uranium, coltan, all of these things will make life meaningful to the Western world. Yes. And for years, I'm dig it out of Africa. And the people in Africa, poor like a war. I hate this argument all the while we continue to say Africa is the richest country, but have the poorest people them. It hurt me when I hear that. Africa is the richest continent, but it have the poorest people them. How long? How long it will continue? And when we say like a beacon of hope and light, round so, we have to just hope say it become the end of the tunnel. Yes, that little light we see a shine now, we have to just say, but I hope this is the end of the tunnel, you know, because Allah, we just, you know, say, we wasn't supposed to there, you know, black people, we wasn't supposed to there on the earth still, you know, given where we got through, we wasn't supposed to, but guess what, we survived. We survived all of what them come with, we survived it. Serious thing. This is the stepping.
Anywhere. I come to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and I show my shilling. They say, what is this? But let me show the dollar. Oh, this is it. Let me show the euro. This is it. 80% of transactions in Africa are concluded outside of the continent in dollars. So you may have the Central Bank or the Federal Bank of Ethiopia or Mickey Mouse. You may have the Central Bank of Kenya, Mickey Mouse. You may have all these 54 central banks useless. Because we are not playing in the real league, we are playing in the small.
Time is 4:30, music Ibale, Chibale. Chibale means kinship. Ola. O-L-A, Ola means wealth. Olo. O-L-U, Olo means among people. And Osokwe. Osokwe. O-S-O-K-W-E, Osokwe. Osokwe means in agreement. So that's Chibale, C-H-I-B-A-L-E, means kinship. Ola, O-L-A, means wealth. Olo, O-L-U, means highest among people. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, pick. and Cash Pot Drive Time Draws. Up next.